I watched the first episode of your show, and I thought it reminded me of a lot of those kind of two-handed detective stories of the past, like the two very unlikely characters getting together and somehow becoming such a great team. What was it about the script that made you say yes to this?
Well, there was a load of factors, to be honest. I mean, first and foremost, it always starts with a script, but it also starts with a character. And to play another detective, yet another detective on British telly, I was wary of it. But the layers of DCI Burton were so many and so I found it very sad. I look for characters with an emotional depth. So to play somebody who was, semi-depressed, he was divorced, there was a lot of terrible, terrible things happening in his personal life, felt that there was enough there for me to start building a rich character. And the thing is, he's so opposite to my mindset and where I think and where I come from, because I love people. I love characters. I love people. I love watching people on the street. That's how I build characters. Starting storylines, and also being with people. Being an actor, you're thrust into these positions on a set where sometimes you're with 3 people, sometimes you're with 13 people, and you've got to sort of get on with people straight away and forge friendships and forge relationships very quickly. So in that respect, he's so opposite like me. I thought, well, this could be a task for me to, as a character, to not understand people and not being able to communicate with people and be very sort of angry at the injustices and the cards that this character's been dealt. How am I going to do that? And I didn't know. So I thought, well, that could be quite an interesting journey to go on. And plus to work with Meera, who I've long admired, but, never worked with, to see how this relationship, this sort of double act, if you will, could be forged. So there was a mountain to climb. And I just thought, well, I don't know if I can do that. So that's a very good reason to do something. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, just going back to the character is, I think what you said about being a bit of a grump, a bit of a sort of a curmudgeon, not curmudgeon as in an old way, but as in someone who doesn't let people in. I think that's you feel straight away that's surface level. You feel straight away that there's more inside there. Or was that really important for?
Yeah, that's
To
very
like to
important. I mean,
try.
yeah, he reminds me of quite an alpha male, especially well, where I grew up in Blackpool, an old school northern man with old northern sensibilities who wouldn't understand about hugging another man. It would all be about shaking another man's hand, and not letting anybody into your emotions. Everything would be all right, and you will get on with it, and you'll dig deep. So yeah, that was the building blocks for me.
Yeah, let's talk about Meera. You mentioned her very briefly then, and I just absolutely adore that character and her. How was working with her on set? Was it like just joke after joke throughout the thing, or did she try and stay in character most of it?
No. I mean, to stay in character, each to their own. I've worked with some actors who either they stay in character or they certainly stay in the accent of the character. I switch between the both. Not switch between the both. I switch between those 2 examples of what I just said. I tried to stay in the accent as much as I could because it was very different from my northern accent. So I wanted to keep that mindset. And plus, at the time, at the latter half of filming, I was filming another TV series where I was extremely northern. So I didn't want to sort of cross the streams in that respect. But with Meera, no, it wasn't joke after joke. I mean, there was times when it was light-hearted and we could have a lot of fun, because myself and Meera are very much of the mindset that to get the scene to where it needs to be, we need to play. You know, sometimes what's on the script is there and it's a blueprint, but we need to play together to find the likeness of touch to make the scene believable and get the truth across. So of that respect, you know, we're both pretty similar. She's just a joy. I mean, she's so professional, but lovely, very kind natured, and especially with all the guest stars that we had coming in and out. And, you know, it was my first time sort of co-leading a show as well. So I kind of looked to her in help like that. And I think in some respects, there was times when it was quite a serious drama for Meera's character. And she would look to me to go, oh, you know, I come from this comedy world. Is that all right? I went, it's brilliant what you're doing. You know, don't look for me for affirmation. It's all there, because I think I'm very much of the mindset that if you're an incredible comic actor, you're an incredible dramatic actor. I'm not of the mindset of you're a drama actor or you're a comic actor and you stay in your lane. I think because I grew up admiring comedy, and comedy is such a massive part of my world. That if you can master the art of comedy, because there's such tragedy and sadness in certain comedies. Certainly, I grew up on Laurel and Hardy and Buster Keaton and Harold Lloyd and Charlie Chaplin, and there's such tragedy there, there's such drama there, and such truthfulness in the comedy that if you can master that, then you can do drama quite easily.
Yeah, I just want to go back to what you said about having to do a different accent from yours. Was there any reason why? Did you ever say to them, look, I'd rather do this in my own accent? Was there, or did you feel like you wanted to challenge yourself anyway?
Well, it was a challenge to do so, which is what I always look for in a piece of work. Plus, you've got to look at where we are setting it. We're setting it in Berkshire, and I'll be really honest, I'm known as quite a professional northern actor. So, and also playing the detective as well. I really wanted the audience to see a different character. I didn't want them to see a northern detective. So his physicality, his brittleness, his voice, his tone, the fact that he cannot connect with people on a way that he would actually like, but he wouldn't admit. All these things need to be incorporated into the character. So I think it just sort of, when we did try it, I remember when we did the first read through, I read the first 4 episodes in my accent, and there was something about it that just didn't fit, and I couldn't work on it. And I went home and I said, look, I just need to sort of play around with the accent a bit more. Is that going to be okay? And they were a bit wary, because obviously when you hear your natural accent, it sounds very natural. So the dialogue sounds natural and truthful and organic. And obviously that's what we want to portray when we're filming scenes. So I could feel that they were slightly nervous about that. But then when I came back in and I went, look, I need to show you what I've been working on. And it sounded supernatural, like the way it does, the way Burton sounds now. They were very happy for me to go ahead with it. So I'm really pleased that we went down that path, to be honest.
Yeah, let's talk about what's coming up for you. What can you tell me about where this series is going, and also what other projects are you hoping to be working on after this is over, or
obviously we've got another few weeks of Mrs Sidhu on British screens. It's just had its finale over in US and Canada, and that's gone down really well. Personally, I'm really hoping we discover more of Burton and Sidhu in the future. I think that would be really lovely and really exciting. And I think, over on UK TV screens at the moment, and, justifiably, there's some very, very heavy dramas about very important, difficult issues that have been in the news recently. And look, there's a time and a place for these stories to be told. But as we come into sort of the darker months, the autumnal months, the heating's going on, I feel that a show like Sidhu is a show that we can all sort of get cozy with and have fun with. And invest in the characters, you know, because as light as the show is, that doesn't mean to say that it doesn't have a lot of depth. You know, we don't need a truly traumatic storyline to have some depth. But I think that's kind of the show that what we need at the moment is this. I think it's a really lovely show, you know. A lot of my friends, a lot of my friends are really enjoying it. You know, the reaction on social media has been brilliant. So it's going good. I mean, I'm currently in the middle of a BBC Two comedy filming in Manchester, and I can't tell you what it is because it hasn't been announced. But it's it's a show that I've admired in its first season, and they're just shooting the second season now, and it's rather brilliant, I must say.
Oh, wonderful. Just one last question. I just want to get
sure.
I want to get your opinion on, we've heard, I don't know if you are affected by this or not, but we've just recently heard that the SAG-AFTRA talks had broken down, and basically the offer that's on the table is even less than the offer that it first had.
I did hear this morning, yeah.
Yeah. Are you at all affected by this, and what do you think is likely to happen?
Well, of course, I'm not a member of SAG, so you know, I can only comment from a personal view, but I think it does affect us all, and it will affect us all at some point or another. And as you know, many of my peers are, you know, we completely stand by what SAG do, and you know, should it come to it, then I'm sure we'd be on the picket line as well. But I'm hopeful that an offer will be on the table that they will be happy with, because you know, at the end of the day, they're fighting for us all, because it will affect us all at some point.
Brilliant. Thank you so much for your time, and thank you on such a fantastic show, and I'm really hooked. So.
Oh, brilliant. Thanks, Linda, that really means a lot. Thanks so much. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Hey You Guys.
Hey, you guys.
Hey, you guys.
Hey, that's what they all say.
Hey, you guys.
Hey, you guys.